There's something profoundly spiritual about Ghanaian soup. You don't just eat it, you consult it. It whispers to you, like, yes, my child, you have eaten today. And if you haven't had any, no matter how much rice or bread you've consumed, a Ghanaian will still say, Chael, I haven't eaten all day. That, my friends, is soup theology. And that's just one of the many gems from the hilarious, insightful, and downright comforting book I just read. Today we're diving headfirst into Kofi Akpabli's Tickling the Ghanaian Encounters with Contemporary Culture. This isn't your average nonfiction book. It's a love letter to Ghanaian life, wrapped in laughter, soaked in soup, stitched with kente cloth, and spiked with a healthy dose of local gin, Akpeteshie to be exact. The fabric of identity. How cloths tickles the Ghanaian. Akpabli kicks things off with a textile TED Talk, only funnier. He explores how cloths in Ghana do more than just cover nakedness. They speak, signify, and sometimes stink. He explains how Dutch wax prints like Vlisco and Dumas have become status symbols, almost like wearing your bank balance on your body. But it's not just about style, it's cultural. Among the U's, the zavor or nightcloth isn't just for sleep. It's practically a roommate. Or as Kofi puts it,
Zavor simply means nightcloth, and it is the closest companion one could ever have in life. Few items hoard specimen of an individual's DNA like the nightcloth, what with all those body fluids.
DNA and body fluids in your blanket? Let's just say this is why nobody ever steals your zavor at boarding school. Dreadlocks and assumptions, Ghanaman and the Rastaman. Next, Akpabli tackles the locks. Apparently, walking around Ghana with dreadlocks is the easiest way to be mistaken for a weed-smoking Rastafarian, even if your only addiction is to fufu. As someone who once had locks himself, Akpabli gets personal. He reflects on how wearing dreads suddenly made people assume he was high, holy, or on the highway to Zion. All roads lead to assumptions. And in Ghana, it seems, dreadlocks are spiritual passport photos. Ah yes, the soul of the Ghanaian kitchen, soup. This is where Akpabli really gets into his element. He doesn't just describe soup, he preaches soup.
What is soup? Philosophically, soup is what makes the Ghanaian say, I haven't eaten all day, simply because all he or she has had did not contain a soup item. Soup is what gingers up nostalgia and helps critical minds to form opinion on serious issues.
You know, soup isn't just food. Soup is identity, therapy, and political analysis. It's also, well, incredibly tasty. And if you've ever been to Europe or the US and asked for soup, you've probably stared in horror at a cup of warm water with sugar and alcohol in it. Ghanaian soup laughs at this. Ghanaian soup demands a full bowl, meat, pepper, and a commitment to sweat. Akpabli then turns his pen to the liquid arts, booze. Specifically how Dutch Schnapps has become the official drink of tradition, pushing poor Akpeteshie from the stool it once ruled. Today, at no traditional ceremony, naming, festivals, or engagement, can one not find Schnapps. Schnapps came with colonizers and stayed like a family member who just won't go back to Holland. Meanwhile, Akpeteshie, though mocked and hidden, still flows proudly in every blue kiosk across the land. And if you think that's funny, wait till you hear how many names Ghanaians have for this drink. It's like the Beyoncé of beverages. Many names, much respect. Now this is pure genius. Akpabli frames bargaining in Ghana as a psychological battle worthy of a Nobel Prize. Nash equilibrium is reached when both parties are satisfied. Unlike in shopping malls and boutiques, the majority of trade in Ghana is governed by this art. He even jokes that people try to bargain with traditional priests.
For instance, a gourd of the very first collection of late-season rain, the midnight droppings of a pregnant elephant. Clients would manage a bargain. Mighty one, can you plead with your honorable deities to quantify everything in monetary terms?
Look, if you can't find a pregnant elephant, the next best thing is 20 cedis and a bottle of schnapps. That's Ghanaian innovation. Let's talk hypocrisy for a moment. Kokonte, which some folks also call face the wall, was, honestly, the food that saved Ghana during the famine in the 1980s. But these days, people deny it like it's, well, their high school ex. A food one would eat and sweat in a corner of his home but would swear he has never seen it before. You know, Ghanaian culture has this weird shame-pride relationship with certain foods. It's almost like dating someone in secret while publicly roasting them. From fashion statements like Badakari to funeral practices, Akpabli really doesn't miss a beat. He talks about how funerals have become, honestly, an industry of style and status. Coffins now come in all shapes and sizes, from Coca-Cola bottles to mobile phones. Because let's be real, if you're going to the afterlife, you might as well ride in style. And in his piece, This Is the Way We Say Goodbye, he captures how Ghanaians turn funerals into, full-blown cultural showcases, complete with outfits, music, and enough food to resurrect the dead. If you haven't guessed already, the book is Tickling the Ghanaian Encounters with Contemporary Culture by Kofi Akpabli. So, here are my thoughts. This book is honestly a masterclass in cultural storytelling. Akpabli takes the ordinary, like soup, cloth, drinks, and even bargaining, and somehow makes them just sparkle. He writes with the curiosity of an anthropologist, the humor of a stand-up comedian, and, the love of a true Ghanaian son. And while these days, many writers lean on outrage or exaggeration to keep readers' attention, Akpabli does the complete opposite. He leans on warmth, truth, and charm. His writing, I think, restores faith in journalism as a craft. No wonder he won the CNN/Multi-Choice African Journalist of the Year for Arts and Culture twice. First person to ever do it. Let's talk about some themes and analysis. First, cultural memory. Akpabli treats Ghanaian culture not just as a present reality, but as a living memory, still evolving. Then, there's everyday identity. From cloth to soup, the book shows how identity isn't just national, it's also domestic. Humor as social critique is another one. His jokes aren't just for laughs. They actually poke at contradictions, hypocrisies, and absurdities with a lot of grace. And of course, colonial residues. Whether it's Schnapps or fashion, Akpabli explores how colonial leftovers have been repackaged as local essentials. About the author, Kofi Akpabli is a Ghanaian journalist and creative writer whose work really blurs the lines between reportage and art. He won the CNN Multi-Choice African Journalist Award twice, for his articles The Serious Business of Soup in Ghana and What is Right with Akpeteshie. He's also the author of A Sense of Savannah, which focuses more on his travels in northern Ghana. But this book, Tickling the Ghanaian, cements him as a cultural documentarian, a national treasure, and honestly a very funny man. If culture is a stew, Kofi Akpabli is definitely the spice. And Tickling the Ghanaian? Well, it's the kind of book that doesn't just tickle. It hugs, slaps, and then serves you a hot bowl of light soup to recover. So read it, laugh, learn, and maybe go find your Zaver. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.